Transphobia is very much real, particularly in other parts of the Pacific. Hashtag justice for Esther, hashtag say her name. That may not have happened in the Cook Islands. That may not have happened to somebody that I know personally, but it can. We as the Pacific are one big continent that is simply divided by some water. What happens in one country influences the others. When the Cook Islands decriminalized, Samoa's government started worrying that they would be pushing for the same thing. That's how close our interconnections are. So when an attack on a trans woman in Fiji that leads to her death happens, I start worrying for the well-being of my own sisters, of my own brothers. It may not have been me, but it can be. The Cook Islands recently decriminalized homosexuality on April the 14th, 2023. Before that, it had been a 12-plus year journey towards that goal. A lot of people didn't understand why we were pushing to decriminalize homosexuality, particularly considering nobody in the Cook Islands had ever been prosecuted for homosexuality. Decriminalizing homosexuality is life-saving. It provided the mandate, particularly for service providers, to not push for any of the issues of the SOGIES community. For example, to be homosexual is illegal to begin with. That means that we cannot prosecute rape or intimate partner violence or sexual exploitation or sexual violation. Therefore, by decriminalizing homosexuality, we are now able to do more work, more fulfilling work, particularly around legislation, policies, and mandates for our community back home in the Cook Islands. These laws were not written by us, for us. These were colonial wars that we inherited way back when we were colonized by the British.
Mostly, trans women are the targets for this kind of violence and things. Trans women are mostly targeted in all communities. There can be violence, there can be physical abuse. Just recently we had someone from the West who died, a 19-year-old kid who died, who is identified as a trans woman. At first, the report came that it was a murder, and then it came back that she died from epilepsy. So that was kind of a hit back to us.
We just want to know who has done the violence against this trans woman. And there's a few others that are not told. Yeah, they like to keep it low. Yeah, but there's a lot that's died over this in Fiji. Not only for trans women, there's a few trans men too. Yeah, these media like Times, papers, and the TV, they don't really do the labeling well of the person that's died. They could have said a teen has murdered, but instead they said sex worker has murdered. So, those kind of labeling, which I don't agree with sometimes with the media, the way they label people. They could have just said teen murdered, but they said sex worker murdered. So the word sex worker used on this person that was brutally murdered, yeah, it was sad for us, the community, to hear. Yeah, but we all, even though, we are not sex workers, but we are still supporting because they are trans men and trans women out there. And we wouldn't like our sisters and brothers to be treated that way.
It's that 8 crimes that lead to physical violence. Generally, most of the transgender community don't report these 8 crimes because sometimes we will be perpetrators. If we go to report this, they'll be asking, well, why are you walking this way? Why are you dressed this way? You deserve to be, But that's not, I have the same rights as everybody. For all these things, it's really something but we sort of like, I don't want to say got used to it, but those are some of the things we are trying to avoid. In our context, it's a very challenging to live in our community compared to my other Pacific Island countries.
We're often faced with discrimination and stigma around in public places. Most commonly, social media attacks. It is becoming very intentional on social media because the perpetrators like to attack us through this norm. If we walk on the street, we get called names.
Mostly it's cyberbullying and also social media, like all those hate crimes, because of the sexual orientation and also gender, expression. Sometimes there are hate crimes, like I said, like if there's anything about the LGBTI community in the newspaper, like we stay home for about 2 or 3 days. We let the news clear before we come out, because we know that there will be physical violence if you are in a place where at the wrong time.
There have been attempts in the past to pray the gay away, although not on such a grand scale as conversion therapy. But attempts have been made nonetheless, and the experience still carries trauma to this day for those who have had to undergo that.
Meningkat akhirnya dari mamaku, dia sepertinya udah cukup lelah untuk memaksa aku untuk kembali ke yang seharusnya mereka terapkan itu. Dia meminta aku untuk kembali dan kita akan membicarakan soal ini gitu. Tapi saat itu aku belum punya pikiran untuk ketika aku kembali belum tentu mereka masih mau menerima aku. Aku pikir jika aku kembali mereka akan menerapkan mungkin terapi-terapi yang bisa merubah saya gitu. Dan ternyata itu betul. Saat itu aku mencoba untuk kembali lagi, dan pas kembali aku ingin dipanggilkan seorang ustadz untuk diruqyah. Dan karena menurutku itu bukan jalan satu-satunya dan itu hal yang bodoh untuk dilakukan, karena ini adalah kemauanku, ini yang aku mau dan ini jati diriku. Akhirnya kembali lagi aku meninggalkan rumah.
The majority of the church ministers appreciate us because of our contribution in the church. However, there are some churches that do not like the idea of Fa'afafine in their community. And they just preach and refer to the Bible. Culturally, there's none unless in the rural areas where the Samoan culture is very, very strong and that our identity is not really visible. At the far end, they do not accept men with long hair. That every man with long hair should cut their hair. So if you're Fa'afafine, you're not a girl or a woman. So if you have long hair, you should cut your hair. So all my Fa'afafine sisters that live in the village all have short hair, and I'm lucky enough to have my long hair because I don't live in the village anymore.
The lateral violence is born out of the fact that trans people, Mahu, etc., are simply trying to exist in a space that is already very oppressive. So to protect oneself, there is a whole facade of a pushback. Do not invade space. So if I want to protect my space, I'll have to put on this face that says, don't come near me, because I can protect myself. I can hurt you if I have to. Hence the lateral violence and the toxicity. So there's a loss of trust in our communities because we're having to grapple with the fact that the world doesn't like us, the Western world, if I have to be specific. Our families have been socialized and pushed by the church or by religion, and it's shaped how cultures have evolved. And of course, this is a Vakasaleoleo and a trans person's response to that pressure. We handle external hate. We handle external stereotypes and biases. And now we have to handle what's happening internally, which sometimes can be a much more toxic and much more diminishing, because now it's coming from somebody who's just like me. And that toxicity in the movement became so disempowering for a lot of young people.
For the past years, I was struggling with mental health because I had so many thoughts that battling in my head for so many years. As the only child, and both of my parents are reverend, and you know how people with their view will be like saying, oh, you're supposed to be like this and like that, and because your parents are both reverend and they're preaching God's gospels and stuff like that. So it got to a time where I get to think about that a lot. I even get bullied by my own friends, transgender friends, and they even said like, oh, you're too feminine, you're too like this, and you think like you're pretty, you think like you're getting all the guys, something like that. And it gets to a time every time you go out and they would always say that, like, oh, you're like this and like that. And it got to a time where they usually said like, oh, you think you're a girl, you're a real girl, and something like that. And then it hurts.
We don't even have records of suicide associated with the trans people and trans issues and trans experiences, because the only records that we have in Fiji are on the binaries, male and female. But we know that it'll be so unique to find out how many of these people actually trans-identified, and the reason for suicide is because of family and that family unit.
But if I was younger and if I knew this information, maybe I would have, yeah. But for my young generation of trans, they're very interested, and they want this information, but we have limited information. So with this training and with the blueprint and all this, it's actually helping us, to at least give the basic information about the therapy.
Sebenarnya untuk berjuang memenuhi kehidupanku sendiri, aku termotivasi dari diriku sendiri bahwa dengan keadaanku yang seperti ini, aku harus bisa menunjukkan kepada semua bahwa aku tidak selemah dengan apa yang mereka lihat. Terus untuk motivasi kerja, aku punya banyak teman-teman yang memotivasi saya untuk lebih giat, lebih serius gitu, menunjukkan bahwa apa yang kamu punya dan apa yang kamu punya itu kamu bisa nikmati sendiri, dan mungkin suatu saat nanti orang lain akan menikmatinya dan akan berbangga dengan hasil.
I have so many friends in community that have wanted to commit suicide, have wanted to take their life because of family, because of relationship, because of sometimes it's the abuse they face from the community. That's why I really appreciate what my parents are so accepting, and I bring them home. I talk to them at home. So once I bring them home, I make sure that there's a sign at our front door saying no visitors. Or when they see the no visitors, they know that I'm with someone and that person needs help. I've saved a lot of people who've come to me. I've seen what they went through. And I was really happy that they chose me to help them out. There are so many things that we faced in life, so that is what we are still fighting for. For you future trans activists out there, try and get yourself involved with those who have been doing your work for a very long time, because these are great mentors. They will teach you well. You can learn well from them, and you can continue your work from there, and by doing it your own way. Don't try and be someone else. Just be yourself and do the work with your heart. Not, don't do it out of just trying to get money out of this. Do it from your heart.